just do a quick intro. Hi, I'm Dan Brown. This is a game for the Gauntlet online gaming community. I'm playing with Dan, John, and Josh. We're playing a game called Root RPG. It's based on a board game. This is with the Gauntlet community, so we follow the Gauntlet's code of conduct, and we've also discussed safety tools as part of this game. For our first little bits, the three of them have created characters, so we're going to go around the table and introduce our characters. Just give us a sense of who your character is, what playbook you've chosen, give us a sense of their nature, and maybe a little bit of background information on each one. I'm going to go in, I'll stop sharing my screen. I'm going to go in playbook order. So I've got Dan P. first. Dan, why don't you introduce us to Mint?
I am Dan, and I will be playing Mint. Mint is a mouse in the Scoundrel playbook, and I've just closed something that I didn't mean to. Let me see here. I think just a sort of a little gray field mouse. I like this idea of an eye patch and a straightforward demeanor. And as far as his, sorry, scrolling, I closed something when I shouldn't have. As far as his nature, he is an arsonist. Oh, we both use he, him pronouns, by the way. I often forget that. He is an arsonist. He centers himself when he destroys something that's important or valuable. And that is actually the reason he was kicked out of his hometown some time ago and came here to settle in the place where we are.
Wingap. Yeah.
Wingap, thank you.
You said you left your teacher behind.
Yeah.
Ideas as who was that teacher and what were they a teacher of?
I think this was just sort of another kind of a vagrant wanderer that Mint sort of became acquainted with, taught him how to, would teach him how to set things on fire, do basic destructive things. Teacher is a loose term in this case, and I'm going to call him Harold.
Harold the Destroyer.
Sounds good.
Yep. Harold, what species was Harold?
Let's say a gray squirrel.
I'm familiar with those. And do you have a sense of what brought Mint to Wingap?
Oh, I believe he was wandering for a while, getting sort of kicked out of one place after another. And this is the first place he's been able to settle for any substantial time.
Nice. Fantastic. Thank you. I've got John next.
Yeah. So I'm John. I use he, him pronouns. I will be playing Flip, the Red Squirrel Ranger. Also he, him. Flip has a stoic demeanor, but with sort of unkempt, bushy hair that frays out and sticks out from the sides of his long ears and chubby face. Let's see. So background, called the Forest Home. Why did you become a vagabond? I wanted to escape from the wars. Who you left behind? I left behind my family, who still lives in the forest. Which faction have you served the most? I'm going with the denizens, thinking that Flip is kind of a wandering and takes odd jobs here and there for probably smaller time folk versus the Irie and the Marquisate. Is that how you say that? Marquisate?
That is reasonably, yes, pronounced. Yes, that's fine.
Okay. And which faction have you earned a special enmity? I'm saying the Irie dynasty, and if I can, I'm going to tie that to actually one of Flip's drives. So one of his drives is revenge. Name your foe, and you advance when you cause significant harm to them or their interests. So I think this would qualify as a connection. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this connections thing works just yet, but I'm going to say there is a bird in the Irie dynasty. They go by the name Three-Toed Titus, and Flip. Let's say Flip interfered with some operations, their like a business operation they had, and marked, and that got Flip marked as a troublemaker in their eyes, as well as that of the Irie, since Three-Toed is maybe a bird of some reputation and fairly high social standing.
So why would Flip want revenge on Three-Toed Titus? Was part of the operation harmful to Flip's family, or did Titus maybe somehow tarnish Flip's reputation?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. Titus has tarnished Flip's reputation with the Irie. Maybe there's a bounty out for Flip or something like that, or I'm thinking maybe I don't know, like that. Yeah, there's some sort of threat out against Flip, something along those lines.
He was wrongly framed for
Yeah,
something. I like it.
like that.
I was just going to ask you about the revenge. And I also feel like that might fit into your nature, which in this case is cynic as well, where you are aiming to uncover an important or damaging falsehood in the clearing. And my sense is the damaging falsehood might be about you. Cool. Is there anything else we need to know about Flip at the moment?
Am I supposed to choose a second connection? So let's see. So one of these should be Titus, right? So let me add Titus here. And then what is this drop down? It says it's got like protector, partner, watcher, friend, professional, family.
Yeah, so those are indicated on the playbooks themselves.
Okay. I see. I completely missed that.
Yeah, it's abundantly clear. So on the Ranger playbook, there are.
There's friend and partner. So Titus would not go in this connection. Okay.
I'm actually seeing Watcher and Protector. It's a little confusing, but
Am I looking at the wrong
the
one?
connection stuff is on the front page, and the abilities and things are on the back page of that PDF. So you can see, I think this is page 3 of that PDF. It says you are a ranger in the upper.
Oh, yep. Okay, I see. Yeah, I was looking at the next playbook down.
So you could choose Watcher for them, because that says I was tricked, conned, or deceived by Titus once.
But it says I continue working with them.
Oh, yeah.
Can I maybe come back to this? I want to hear, because I've heard about Mint.
Yes.
I'd like to hear about the third player character. Maybe that'll help me slot some people in.
That sounds great. Josh, I think that's your cue.
Okay, so I will be playing Nigel. He is a tinker. He's a beaver. So as far as, I'm kind of picturing him as, he's very dirty. Since he's always working, he's never got time to clean himself up or whatever. His hair probably, if he works with anything, maybe he's tried to use lightning before or something to, make power or whatever, and so his hair's kind of got that frizzled look to it. And so he's grubby. I picture him as a bit fatter or whatever, bigger beaver. He's got this just eccentric, crazy tool belt that's got all sorts of random stuff on it that he's probably most of those tools he's made himself. And then he's, inquisitive, so constantly, his main thing, like when he finds something new or sees something new, is like, ooh, how could I use that? Or, what could I make out of that? Or how could I manipulate that to work with this, or, whatever. Which is partly why I took the improvised weapon move.
Nice.
So where do I call home? So I call it the Triple Fork Clearing, which is along the Red Milk River. I imagine it's kind of a little town or whatever that's on a triple fork in the river. So I became a vagabond because I was thrown out of my home for my crazy ideas. So he was always working on something that most people think he's crazy for. Who do I leave behind? My mentor. My mentor is actually the one that kicked me out because he didn't want, I had crazy ideas or thoughts or whatever, and he just wanted to stick to the same old, we build this and we do this. This is how it's done. Faction that I've served the most, probably the denizens. I just build stuff, whatever, sell it to people. The faction that I've earned special enmity from, the Marquisate, however the heck you say that. I figure I've probably built, various weapons and things that, end up falling in the hands of rebels or in the hands of the Erie, and Marquisate is not very happy about that.
That's great. What was your mentor's name and species?
I think he was another beaver, because I think our workshop or lab was the big dam over that goes over the triple fork. Let's see. Let's call him. Just gonna call him Nail.
And one of the moves for the Tinker is you get to you have a workshop.
Right.
Did you configure this workshop at all? What can you tell us about it?
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure where to say it is as far as location wise, but for my 3 features, I chose booby traps, assorted woods and metals, and a forge and anvil. And then for my downsides, I put that it's difficult to reach and dependent on a local resource.
Interesting.
I think part of the reason I think I built it on a river. I think it's, a dam like beavers make. And I don't know, I know with the way beavers make their dams, to get into them, they have to swim under the water and come up from the bottom, which is part of why it's difficult to get into, especially if I'm trying to bring in metal or wood or whatever. That's kind of a pain.
I wasn't thinking through this. Yeah.
No,
I'm also imagining
the natural thing.
I'm also imagining maybe he's got some kind of water wheel that makes use of the river to power the forge or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it. That is fantastic. I love that you said Nigel's built various weapons. that annoyed the Marquisat, what is one weapon that he sold to some rebels that was particularly notable?
Say the Marcus, a lot of them are cats, right?
Yes, they are a cat-based group.
So I think like it's essentially like a water cannon. Like it has to be, built or set up over like a big pond or some kind of reserve, thing of water that it like pumps, sucks it out of and
I feel like
sprays it.
one of those old-time fire trucks where they're spray the water, but they still need the buckets to kind of fill up the water. Love it.
Right.
Well, that was great. So let's go back around the table again and do connections. So Dan, why don't we start with you? Looks like you're well on your way, or you've got partner and friend as your two types of connections. What are you thinking in terms of who those people are?
Well, it looks like Flip and Mint both don't do well with the Irie. Is that correct? Let me see here. It's tough to find my way around here.
Yep.
Squirrel denizens.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, fantastic. I think maybe. Where did you go? Connections. There they are. Okay. I think maybe Flip has been Mint's partner in crime at some point. I think they together destroyed a resource that the Irie held dear. Like I don't know, maybe figuring out a way to take down a treetop, kick off some roosts and things.
John, does that sound all right with you? Fantastic. So why don't you put Flip's name in there? And what's cool about this is that you now mark prestige. So it sounds like both of you mark prestige in the faction that you helped. So you definitely, you mark notoriety with the Erie. We know that for sure. So that's at the very bottom of the character keeper there. And basically when you're marking notoriety, you mark to the left of the 0. So there's 2. John and Dan should both do that. Now, which faction were you helping? It looks like Dan Mint has served the Marquisats, but Flip is helping the denizens. That doesn't mean that you can't choose one or the other. You just can't choose the Irie. So.
Right. I am totally fine with having helped the denizens. Yeah, I think there may have been mutual benefit between the Marquisat and the denizens, but yeah, I kind of like the idea of it
Perfect.
being mostly for the denizens.
So you can then mark 2 prestige there.
Let me clarify real quick. Are we saying 2 check boxes or all the way to 2?
No, you're
Okay.
right. You're exactly right. 2 checkboxes.
Sweet.
When you hit that 1, it bumps up your reputation for that particular group. So one of the things this character keeper doesn't do well is keep track of those things, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, cool. But you've got a second one here. You've got friend. Who you're welcome to name Mint as your friend, or pick an NPC.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind if Nigel and I had pulled off a Mad Impossible stunt together. I think that'd be awesome. What did we do though? What did we do? Something with a new contraption that is very destructive.
Let's see.
I think maybe it was. You say you've maybe experimented with lightning a little bit,
Yeah.
trying to capture that. I think that's a possibility. Like, I don't know. Set just hey, maybe we set a grain silo on fire. Maybe it was partly accidental. Maybe not.
Sounds good to me.
Very cool. Thank you, Mint. I'll get your names right at some point. Flip, it's your turn. You kind of ironed out what you're thinking in terms of.
Yeah. So for Watcher, it says, I was tricked, conned, or deceived by blank once. And I like the idea of that being Mint. I think I did not realize what I was getting into when I paired up with Mint. And so it says, why do I choose to continue working with them?
That sounds great.
I'll say that, yeah, it's Flip and Mint maybe have sometimes a tenuous relationship, but they make good partners. And I've yet to meet a mouse better at setting stuff on fire than Mint. So
yeah,
that's a hard skill to top.
Yeah. You've got like a buddy cop movie thing going on.
Yeah, I think so. And then for Protector, I did something that would have gotten me the enmity of a woodland faction if Blank hadn't covered for me. What did I do? Why and how did they protect me? Regardless, I feel indebted to them. I'm good with this being Nigel. Or we can make up an NPC, but I don't know, Nigel, any ideas on let's see, what woodland faction are you from?
Sorry, what is your connection then?
So it says, it's called Protector. It says, I did something that would have gotten me the enmity of a woodland faction if Nigel hadn't covered for me. What did I do? Why and how did they protect me? Regardless, I feel indebted to them.
So you already are kind of against the Erie.
And Flip's a big cynic too. I feel like maybe that feeds into it. Maybe Flip like had his information backwards or something, and Nigel, Flip was like ready to accuse the wrong person of something, and Nigel helped him out, or I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that could be an interesting, like, maybe, you thought you knew who, committed some crime or something, and when I, with some invention or something that I had, was able to help, like, prove that it was someone else, or maybe I questioned, like, wait, that's not the right kind of paw prints, or
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of maybe something a little concrete to put to it. So,
we can also put Nigel down and kind of see how it
yeah.
irons out over the course of the story.
Yeah, I'm good with that. It lets me take mark exhaustion to take blows for you though, so that's kind of cool.
But when you do, you get +1 ongoing to weapon moves. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right, Nigel, you are up. Connections.
Okay. So my first one is professional. Blank and I have been working together for a while. We read each other's moves easily. And I was kind of thinking that might go with Flip. That we've been working together for a while. And honestly, it could go for either one of them. Both of mine kind of have things that I could see for either one of y'all. I was thinking more, so my second one is family. Blake and I had each other's backs when we were run out of a clearing because our natures got out of hand, and I was thinking that with Mint.
That's a
And I would kind of go back to the experiment with,
blowing stuff up. Yeah,
yeah.
that is a really good fit. Yeah, hard to deny that.
So with that one, if I help if I help you fulfill your nature, we both get to clear our exhaustion.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so Flip, I'm thinking, maybe me and you have been working together for a while, and that's where it was like you were so angry or gung ho about whatever, and I was kind of able to temper that with you just because we've been working together for a while, but kind of like, hold on. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So with that one, we can read each other's moves easily. If we share information after reading a tense situation, we both benefit from the +1 of on acting on the answers. If I help while you attempt to make a roadius feat, I gain the choices on the help move as if I've marked 2 exhaustion, even though I only mark 1. So.
Nice. Yeah, there's some cool mechanical benefits to those connections. So I'll be interested to explore those. Friends, that was awesome. I cannot wait to play with these characters. When we come back, we will start us off. You'll be in Wind Gap Refuge, but the 3 of you find yourselves in jail in Wind Gap Refuge. So maybe during the break, think about, how did you end up here? What did you do to end up in Wind Gap's jail? And how are you going to get out? So I've got 7 past the hour, maybe 8-minute break. So we reconvene right at 15 past the hour. Sound okay? Fantastic. See you all soon. All right, friends, welcome back. We've just met your characters. You are all in Wind Gap, but you are in jail. Let me start with Mint. Have you been in this particular jail before?
I don't think this particular one, but I think Mint has seen the inside of a few cells.
When was the last time you were in jail?
Maybe 2 towns ago, or maybe 2 clearings ago. Sorry.
And what landed you in jail this time?
Well, Mint stole a sizable amount of grain to experiment with. He's seen this trick that someone pulled with some kind of grain. They heated it with fire, and after a little while, it exploded into this fluffy white thing. And so he's one of these days he's going to find the grain that does that. It's just a matter of time.
Just you better hope someone has invented movies by that point. Yeah. Were you with one of these guys when you were thrown in jail?
I think so. I think maybe Nigel and I were. Nigel, how do you feel about that? Yeah, Nigel and I were trying to do this experiment, or Nigel was enabling this experiment in some way or another.
I think you stole the grain, and all you could say was like you saw it pop up into this fluffy white thing, whatever, and so you know I was trying various ways of heating it. We channeled some electricity again or lightning again, and we've tried fire. We've tried various things to see if maybe it's the specific way you cook the grain.
Sure.
And that might have gotten a little out of hand.
How'd you get caught?
I think one of the ways that I was trying to heat the grain caused an explosion that, of course, attracted the guards or whatever, and like it blew out the side wall of whatever warehouse or whatever we were working in.
Just this pile of grain just sort of flows out onto the ground.
The constables who brought you in, what species were they? Were they foxes, rabbits? Have a sense of who they were. Have you met them before? These like old friends of yours? The constable.
I wouldn't remember.
I think maybe acquaintances. I like foxes. I like foxes as constables.
Okay.
Nigel may have been arrested by him before or whatnot, but he just wouldn't remember because that's not a detail that's important to him.
Just flows right off his back. Are you in the cell together? Did they separate you?
Probably separated.
Okay. All right, let me turn my attention to Flip. Were you in here when they brought these guys in, or did you show up after they arrived?
I think after.
And what got you drug in jail?
Trying to break into jail.
Why are you trying to break in?
They took my partners.
So you were trying to stage a jailbreak.
That probably would have been smarter. I was just going to break in and rescue the two.
What went wrong? Besides getting caught, like how did this plan backfire? I feel like maybe you tried to bribe a guard.
I was just trying to think of like what is the wood equivalent of I forgot about the dog. But they wouldn't have a dog, right? The dog would be too big. I know. So like,
No.
What do foxes keep as pets?
I've always imagined, there's no detail about this, but I've always wondered if insects kind of serve as domestic beasts.
I think that's a great idea. So maybe like, maybe there's like lightning bugs. Okay, they've got lightning bugs that are like pets, but also like the lanterns for the hallways and stuff. And I was trying to sneak in, and damn lightning bugs like motion activated or something and just lit me up. And then I probably tried to bribe a guard like to get out, and that didn't go well.
Yeah, they were like, "What are you doing?" And they just sort of led you right into the cell. Yeah. I feel like all three of you are though within shouting distance of each other, and maybe there's a fox in here who, if you're paying attention, you know Quentin. He's been a constable for a while. He's always he's been picking you guys up as long as you've been in Wind Gap. So Quentin will kind of tell you to pipe down, but is there anyone else in the cells with you? Are you kind of just by yourselves in these cells, or do you have kind of companions with you, or not companions, but sort of other jailmates?
I'd like to propose that there's the town drunk.
Oh yeah. Species for the town drunk?
Let's say they're a rabbit. We haven't had a rabbit yet.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking was rabbit.
And his name is Dugan. And he's basically always in jail. Flip, are you sharing a cell with Dugan?
Unfortunately, and he smells.
And Mint, who's in your cell with you?
Oh, I think let's say Tree Pie, who is just a local, kind of a local tough, a worker who just gets in trouble sometimes, gets angry with various folks sometimes, and starts fights.
Have you had a run-in with Tree Pie before?
Oh, at least one, yeah.
So what does it look like when when they shove you into the cell with Tree Pie here?
Oh, it is pretty tense. Yeah. I think it's very quiet and tense, and as long as it stays that way, everybody will be happy. But at some point, somebody's going to open their mouth, and that's going to be a problem.
Tree Pie, what species is that person?
I like a badger.
Tree Pie says, we meet again, Mint. I did not like how you were looking at me in the bar the other day. And I made a special arrangement with Quentin
Oh,
to have him bring you in.
oh,
I can teach you a lesson.
oh boy. Well, that's no good. I don't like that. What's the lesson? What's the lesson there, Tree Pie?
The lesson is, don't look at me when we're in the tavern or on the street or in the cafe or anywhere.
I'll do what I can. But your coat is so glossy, and God, you're just such a handsome guy. I will try my best, Tree Pie.
So let's try a roll. We're
Okay.
here. We might as well roll some dice, right?
Hey.
That's what this whole thing is about. So on the basic and weapon moves tab, I put a link to Roll Dice with Friends, which is the dice roller that I've been using. If you haven't used it before, it's pretty simple. You just click on the dice that you want to roll. You click roll it. You can put your name or your character's name in a little field at the top there. When you come in, you'll see I've done one roll. So once you Dan, why don't you pop in there and roll a couple of dice? We're going to do the move persuade an NPC. With promises or threats, you roll with charm.
Oh. Let me see here. I got a 4 and a 6. That is plus charm, so I believe that's a 9. Let me double check my numbers real quick. I'm pretty sure we're low on charm.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, Mint's a little high on charm.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, so that is an 11.
Nicely done. So in a 10 plus, they see things your way, provided you give them a strong motive or reasonable bribe. So what are you going to do? How are you going to convince Tree Pie not to punch your lights out?
Let's see here. Good motivation or a bribe? I think a bribe seems right up my alley.
Why don't you think about that, and I'll
Yeah.
come back to you. Nigel, what are you doing to get out of jail?
I think I'm looking at everything that's in my cell, which, of course, I think there's like they've stuffed me in this little cell with two rabbits that are like at each other's throat, and but I'm just kind of scrounging around like, can I take some pieces off this bed or whatever to,
Nice.
whether I'm going to leverage and break this door down or try to pick the lock. I'm just seeing kind of what I have at my disposal.
Yeah, I think there are things in there that would let you create some kind of lockpick, whether it's pins from the bed or things like that. This seems like a great opportunity for your jury rig move. So why don't you roll with cunning?
Okay.
See what you did.
Get that roll for party open. Oh, a different dice really than I was expecting. So I had a 9 plus. So that's an 11.
Nice. You guys are rolling great. So that means you create a device that serves the purpose once and breaks, but on the 10 plus, you can choose one. It works exceptionally well, or you get an additional use out of it. What do you want to do?
I'll get an additional use out of it.
Okay. So if you want to use this, you need to roll roguish feat for lockpicking.
I do have lockpicking as a skill.
Yes, but let me come back to you on that. Oh gosh, Flip. I'm sorry to say that Dugan has just thrown up all over your cell, and it's pretty stinky. But you think this might be an opportunity you can take advantage of? What do you do?
I am going to begin calling for the guards.
Okay.
And yelling that come quickly. This rabbit is quite ill.
Different guard shows up. It's not Quentin. He's been paid to clear out, so Treepa can do his thing. But Jinx, the otter, shows up. What's the problem? What are you shouting about now?
Look, this rabbit is vomiting everywhere. He's quite ill. I think he needs medical attention right away.
Dugan is always throwing up. That's normal for Dugan.
Oh, I think the disease is spreading. I think it's transferred to me. I'm going to be ill.
Let's do another roll. So you are tricking an NPC. When you trick an NPC to get what you want, roll with cunning.
Okay, I have a 1 in cunning. And a 9 plus 1 will make it 10.
Fantastic. They take the bait and do what you want. He's like, wow, yeah, he's looking really, really sick. Let me. He opens the gate and he starts to come in to try and pick up Dugan. Meanwhile, he's left the cell open. You think about what you're going to do there, and let me come back to Mint. How are you going to handle Tree Pie?
Well, Tree Pie, all right. I've been holding on to this. I have in my possession, when we get out of here, I have got a full cask of dandelion wine. Now, I was going to save it. I was going to distill it into some flammable materials, but I know how you like dandelion wine. We get out of here. I roll that cask all the way over to your place. It's all yours.
Well, that's fine. I'm grateful. I love dandelion wine, but there's a problem with your plan.
Yeah.
How are we going to get out of here?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. Okay. Well, we got straw mattresses.
Yes.
There's one thing I know about straw. It creates a smoky flame they'll have to evacuate the jail. If one of these were to ignite spontaneously, they would just have to evacuate the whole cell, and if not the whole jail.
That feels right to me. Let's try and set one on fire. What are you doing to set it on fire?
That's a great question. I wonder if Mint has like a little lens somewhere on his person, somewhere hidden away, and there's a cell window at maybe it's late in the afternoon or mid-afternoon, and we're at just the right angle.
Yep, I love it. I'm going to say mark depletion.
Yep.
And that will be on fire in just a sec. Let's see how Nigel's lockpicking is going. Nigel, you should attempt roguish feats. So you'll roll with finesse.
Let's see.
And I assume your goal here is to pick the lock on the gate.
Yeah, that was a 6.
Oh, nice. Wow, you were rolling so well, it didn't even occur to me that you would miss. As you are trying to pick the lock, the 2 rabbits who are in here, are they siblings, brother and sister, maybe?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, they're at each other's throats for whatever reason.
Yeah, they keep.
Maybe the sister had some kind of like hairpin thing, and that's what I took.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, they it's a small cell, and they keep bumping into you to the point where you actually kind of like dropped the lockpick on the other side of the gate. What do you do? In fact, things are starting to heat up, and they're not just kind of scrapping. They're like starting to get kind of violent with each other.
I think I get kind of mad and, like, there's a delicate, like, pretty frustrated with them, and I just start, like, smacking them with that big old beaver tail. Like, it's a small cell, like, force them onto the bed, and, like, I think I see, like, the female one has, like, some kind of string or something like on her clothing that's kind of sticking out, and I kind of like I said, I kind of forced them to like sit down on the bed or whatever, and I like tear that string off and like find like a a piece of wire or something from the bed, and like, you two stay right here, stay calm. I'm gonna get my lockpick back, and then we're gonna get out of here. And like, kind of making kind of like a hook with that wire on the string.
Awesome. So they are very apologetic. They're sitting sort of meekly there, watching you try to do your thing. I'm going to say that you are, because they've settled down, you're able to pick the lock. You obviously can't use this wire again for any purpose. But as you are finally opening the gate, you see Quentin down at the end of the hallway where the cells are. Meanwhile, Flip, you've got this opportunity to slip out. What are you going to do?
Well, I have a move called Slip Away.
Fantastic. How does that work?
It says, when you take advantage of the opening to escape from a dangerous situation, roll with finesse. On a hit, you get away, and then you've got your standard list of 10 plus, choose one, 9, 2. You still get away on a miss, but it costs you, and then you get some options as the GM on how you want to go with that. So,
What's your roll with finesse?
let's see. Finesse is a +1. That's going to be a 6 total.
You do manage to slip out, but Quentin is at the end of the hall. The what's his name? Jinx, the otter, has taken the rabbit down the other way, so you manage to kind of avoid that confrontation. But you've got Quentin at one end, and kind of more cells in the other direction. What do you do?
Okay. So Mintz and Nigel's cell would be the other direction from Quentin.
Yeah, I think you're the one closest to the kind of exit of the jail area. So
okay, I'm gonna head down towards the other cells and see if I can aid them in escaping, or look for some other way out opposite of Quentin.
Great. Well, by this time, the place is filled with smoke of a, the straw is now burning and filling the place with smoke. Tree Pie starts shouting, guard, come quick. There's a fire. And Quentin starts coming down the hall right towards you. Flip, what do you do?
Is my cell still open?
Oh yeah, still smells like puke. Yeah,
I'm gonna jump back into the pukey cell and just close the door without latching it, and just stand there whistling. Oh, hey, there's a fire, Quentin.
Quentin approaches your cell. Mint, what do you say to him?
Looks like it looks like one of these mattresses. Looks like one of these mattresses busted. I don't know what happened. But I tell you, this smoke is sticky and toxic. You're probably gonna have to take us all outside.
So to fast forward a bit, they grab all of the prisoners and they kind of line you up outside. And the three of you, are you going to stand near each other? Are you going to stand apart? What are you all doing?
Yeah, I think I would probably try to stand near them once I probably didn't even know Flip had come in there, so it's like, oh, hey.
Hey, man. How do you smell like puke?
What are you doing here?
Everything's going exactly to plan. Follow my lead. I came to rescue you.
Well, I picked my lock. I was rescuing myself.
All right, well then, at least we're together now.
Oh, and there's Mint too.
Oh, hey.
I guess I should have expected him to be in there.
Yeah.
He was with me when we got arrested, after all.
Yeah.
What are they doing to kind of make sure that you all stay put? Did they kind of tie you up? Are there extra guards kind of hanging around?
I feel like they would tie us up or put some kind of shackles or something on us.
I was going to say, is this like a jail that's got like a yard? Is there just sort of this like maybe slightly fenced off area?
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, yeah. So you're in this. That's great. So I don't have much experience with jail. Yeah. So you're in a fenced off area. Maybe there's some wasps that they use to kind of keep people, kind of guard the perimeter. It's really just kind of like a constable station is the way I've been thinking about, like a precinct. And so there's really not a lot of infrastructure for there's not kind of a huge prison complex in the woodlands. And an authority figure comes up to you. They're not constable, they're kind of a government figure. This clearing, wind gap, is dominated by mice. So mice are the kind of predominant species here. And you recognize this one as the governor. You recognize them because maybe you're familiar with the governor of this clearing, but what are some of the accoutrements that they might be wearing that distinguishes them? Mint, do you have any ideas?
I'm thinking, yeah, like maybe a waistcoat dyed with a color that's kind of tricky to source. Like maybe a blue. There's very difficult to get blue dye, I reckon.
Right. And I'm thinking this is Yates, the governor, and I imagine he's super proud of this waistcoat. Like he wears this waistcoat whenever he can. Flip, anything else about Yates that sort of distinguishes him as the governor?
He's got a walking stick, but it's like this very like highly polished piece of wood. It's very ornate looking and gives him this, he the way he walks with it is very very proud and statutory.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and the maybe all of the council members have walking sticks, but it's the governor's who's kind of the main executive in the area, has kind of the biggest and shiniest walking stick. I love that. What is Yates? It's very unusual that Yates is here. Normally, the governor wouldn't come inspect the prisoners. Nigel, does he have like an entourage with him, or is he by himself?
I think he's got, like an assistant and maybe one of the other council members, and then some like guards or whatever.
Yeah.
Although I don't think Nigel really pays much attention to all that because he's already looking around, saying, well, how can I put a hole in the wall or something?
What is the most interesting thing to Nigel in this area?
I think there's like, it's kind of a recreation yard or whatever, and so there's various, I guess kind of like in a modern day thing where there's like some kind of weights or training equipment and stuff like that, and he's looking at like, okay, I can take that bar and put some in the weights and leverage it this way, and and so he's like, the most interesting thing to him is he spots like a weak point in the wall or something.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I guess between Mint and Flip, which one of you is kind of really attuned to Yates and what he's doing and what his entourage is doing?
I think that Flip would be attuned to it. He, being a cynic of sorts, he would recognize the governor here at this jail on what's a fairly random afternoon. Like, what's up with this? That's not normal.
So do you do anything? Do you confront the governor? Or are you merely observing?
I think it's just observation for now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the governor approaches this group of you, and it's these kind of fighting rabbits and Dugan the drunk, and Tree Pie is there, but there's also maybe a handful of other folks who had been imprisoned. Some of them look in worse shape than Dugan. Some of them look like maybe experienced vagabonds who have seen a thing or two in their time. Yates approaches this group and says, "I'm looking for some volunteers for a dangerous and exciting mission. I've combed the town, the clearing, for some folks, but strangely enough, no respectable people have agreed to go on this mission. So is there anyone here who would like to go on this mission, which is very valuable to the clearing, but also potentially very dangerous?"
Well, those are my two magic words.
Kind of turn back towards him and like, and what exactly is this that you're wanting us to do?
Well, that is on a need-to-know basis. And right now, until you volunteer, you don't need to know. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to these other folks. They look like they are strapping and can handle themselves in a dangerous situation. And Yates is addressing maybe a squirrel and a fox who are clearly kind of also have some kind of adventuring partnership going on. And he says to them, "How would you two like to help out the clearing? What do you do?"
I think while he's ignoring us and whatnot, I'm looking at that cane he's got, and I just like walk up and grab it and like just start examining it very closely.
That's fascinating. Let me see. Okay, so I like where that's going. Flip, what are you going to do?
I think Flip turns to Mint, who maybe still has their hand in the air, waiting to be acknowledged. Says, "Mint, why do you want to volunteer for this? We don't even know the purpose of this. Does this seem like a worthy endeavor to you?"
I said it'd be dangerous and something else.
Valuable.
Valuable. They said valuable. So I think those are, and you know, you're always trying to help people out. You're always trying to help the locals and the denizens out. We could we could get out of here. That'd be great. And B, I don't know, probably break stuff. Maybe bring a building down, something. I'm not sure.
And I think it's like at this time, Nigel is walking over and grabbing the stick, and Flip is like, "Oh crap! Well, Nigel's gonna get us in even more trouble. So yeah, let's go up there and volunteer before he picks those other two."
Yeah, let's go.
So the timing of this is Nigel is grabbing the stick, and you all are shouting like, "Hey, we'd love to do this," to kind of distract Yates from doing this. Okay. I like it. Yates says, "Well, what what are you doing with my stick, and who are you people?
I just kind of ignore him, like looking at it, maybe chew on it a bit.
This would fit great in my dam. Yeah. Who's talking to Yates?
I think Flip might speak up and say he's merely checking the stick to make sure it's structurally sound for you. Clearly, as you can see, we are quite the experienced group, more than capable of delivering whatever it is that this mission needs done.
Interesting. What special skills do you have?
I snuck into this jail, didn't I?
That was great. Interesting. Doesn't seem wise, but skillful, sure. And you, Beaver, what do you do?
I think again, I'm ignoring him, and I'm just starting to like dismantle the stick.
And he turns to his secretary person. He's like, make a note, new governor walking stick. And then he turns to Mint. And you? What's so special about you?
Oh, well, I'm a mouse. You're not really gonna give a job to a fox, are you? You're not gonna give a cool job to a fox. I mean, I know he's right there.
I'm seeking able-bodied people. It does not matter to me from where they hail.
Fine. No, fine. Well, as you can tell, I am the speaker for this group of adventurers. I'm the person who makes us look good. As you can see, my friend here, he's very good at wood crafts. He can do many things with sticks and wood. My other friend, also very good, very skilled with a crossbow and a dagger, all kinds of stuff. And these two, I don't know them from Adam. Who knows who those are? Hang on. By which I mean the fox and squirrel over here, not the squirrel and beaver over here.
Right. Well, Yates says, well, this is Murdy and Selwyn. They are the most notorious bandits this side of the Red Run River. I mean, who doesn't know who they are? I mean, besides you, obviously.
They look different in the pictures, I gotta say. Wow, I'm starstruck. Well, you make a good point. Anybody want to back me up? Anybody?
Okay.
Flip just chimes in and says, in my experience, it's the bandits you've never heard of that are the better ones.
You make a compelling case, and as Yates is talking to you, Quentin, the guard, kind of comes up and whispers in Yates's ears, and you hear him go, "Oh, expendable. Okay. Oh yeah, that's useful. It's good to know." Okay. He says, "Well, friends, citizens, denizens, I'm inclined to give you a chance. The constable will release you from your sentence and meet me outside, and I will walk you through the particulars of this particular mission." Nigel, out of curiosity, what have you carved his stick into?
I think I fashioned it into like a big flute or something, but I think it probably had some metal bands on it that I've incorporated in a different way, and kind of just made actually I think this place is called Windy. What is it called?
Wind Gap.
wind gap, which I'm kind of imagining like part of the reason it's called that is like the wind blows through here and makes like a
Yep.
specific noise.
Yep.
And I think like I start blowing through this flute and it like makes the same noise as the wind makes coming through this area.
That's awesome. That's perfect. I feel like Josh, you and I always end up doing musical instrument things in our adventures. Yates is like, when you meet him outside, Yates says, "Well, you can keep the flute. Nicely done, by the way." He says, "There is a lake not far from here, deep in the forest. It's been overgrown. There used to be a clearing, and the waters have finally receded in this lake, revealing an entrance to the old city, the clearing that once lived there, that was once there. In fact, many of the folks from Wind Gap, their ancestors came from that clearing. And for all we know, they've got many of the answers that we seek. You do not seem like, although you are worldly, you do not necessarily seem like informed individuals. So I will let you know that while we are currently under control of the people, the denizens of this clearing, both the Erie dynasty and the Marquessate are on our doorstep, and they are poised. The war is coming to Wind Gap Refuge. We do not want that to happen. Our hope is that our ancestors have locked secrets in the old city that will help us fend off these threats. This mission is for you to go explore that city and learn some of the secrets of our ancestors. How do your characters react?
I'm rubbing my paws together and just like, secrets, special knowledge? Ooh, I like the sound of this.
Nice. Flip.
Yeah, there's a lot of words in there that Flip likes to hear. And yeah, I think Flip probably has a kind of this a stern gaze at the moment, but you can see that he's listening intently and intrigued by the mythos and backstory and all of it, but still wondering what's he not telling us.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And Mint?
Mint has been distracted by the smoke that has been billowing out of this window. It's getting thicker, and at the end of the speech, he said, "Yes, oh yeah, oh, ancestors. Gonna have to find the secrets to stop the Irie. Yeah, yep, we can do that."
Nice. So he says, "Well, why don't you leave tomorrow? You'll have to venture into the forest, which is fairly dangerous. But once you reach the lake, you should be able to see, our scouts tell us that you should be able to see the entrance. There's something that you should know, and that is, we sent another party earlier this week to go, and we have not heard back. Let's call it 2 weeks ago. We've not heard back from them. And it's also become really clear that there's a leak in our administration, and both the Erie and the Marquessate are aware of this place. We don't know what they're doing with that knowledge, but we do know that they are aware of it. Do you have any other questions for Yates? Anybody? What would your characters ask based on their drives?
Yeah, I was trying to think of how to word it, and I can't come up with anything. But I think Flip says something along the lines of, if we take this job for you, gosh, what is the wording? If and we uncover something troubling. Maybe it's a threat. Maybe it's not a question. Maybe Flip just says, if we take this for you, but we uncover something troubling, we will tell others. We won't keep quiet. There's something you're not telling us about this.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that. Nigel, let's go to you. Do you have any other questions or anything else you want to say to Yates?
I think Nigel's he's kind of holding up his paw and kind of making a mental list of things that might be needed. And he's like, I'm going to need some money up front so I can get the supplies I need to make sure we can get this done for you. Delving into ancient ruin, it's tricky business. There's a lot that can go wrong.
Okay. And Mint?
Yeah, it sounds like this has the potential to. We might cross paths and make angry both sides of this war, as that seems like a lot of potential for making enemies, making factions angry. Just want to make sure that is our pay for this. Is that right? That potential to make people angry.
You're saying that's what you want to get out of it?
Is that the main motivator?
So I'll go in reverse order. So he says to Mint, no, my hope is that you can get there and unlock the secrets before either the Erie or the Marcus arrive. All I want to do is protect this clearing. I've prepared a diplomatic pouch for you. So this is sort of an official identifier saying that you are on official clearing business. So hopefully if you run into any trouble, this can be your first line of defense. He says to Nigel, of course, you can have, and what I'll do, I guess, Mint, is if you are ever using kind of a social move and want to make use of that diplomatic pouch, maybe you get a +1 on that roll, and we'll say it's got 2 wear or 2 wear or depletion on it. And Nigel, I'm going to give you an extra square of depletion, extra box of depletion, which basically represents the extra materials that he's hooked you up with. And I feel like, Flip, you should probably roll for this threat. That was a really good threat. But let's see. Are you trying to persuade? Are you trying to trick? What is it that you're trying to do by threatening him? Or are you just trusting fate?
I actually wonder if this is figure someone out.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
And of course, I have a -1 for charm, so this will go great.
This will be just.
I rolled an 11, so -1 still makes it 10.
Wow. Sorry, I was just seeing if your connections offered you any help, but they didn't. So you hold 3. So why did you ask me 3 of these questions.
Yeah, I mean, the one I care most about is are they telling the truth?
They've yes, they've told you everything that they've told you that Yates has told you is true. Yates may be leaving out some details.
Okay. So how could I get Yates to reveal those details?
You may not be able to get Yates to reveal any of the details, but maybe someone in his entourage will be willing to part with some information.
Okay. And I'll just ask, what does your character wish I'd do?
Yates wishes. I think he genuinely is fearful for the clearing. So his wishes that you'll go and that you'll come back and that you'll have something that will help the clearing out. So I think that's kind of a good time to stop. We've teed ourselves up for next time. We can finish up kind of maybe some role playing in the village if Flip wants to try and learn a little bit more information. And then the game has a special move for traveling through the forest since it is fairly dangerous. So my hope is next session we will kind of make our way through the forest, end up at the lake, try and get to the entrance, and then maybe explore the first parts of the city in the next session. So that is that. I think we'll skip a break and maybe just go straight to Stars and Wishes. Is that okay with everyone? All right, cool. Let me just get a place where I can record that. Josh, can I start with you? Stars and Wishes?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything particular. I guess stars, I'm liking the characters, liking, kind of our connectivity and whatnot. So it's fun getting to know all the characters. I think we've got an interesting dynamic. And I think it's a fun setting and whatnot. Like I said, didn't know until about an hour before that we were going to be woodland creatures. So so it's fun.
Cool. Wishes?
Nothing in particular at the moment.
Anything you want to make sure we cover next time?
Not really. I mean, just interested to see how things get going as we really get underway.
Right. Me too. John, let me come to you.
Yeah. I think mostly some stuff. I had a lot of fun. Making the characters and then our little bit of play tonight. I am really enjoying this whole like in the forest, the woodland creatures and everything, and like reimagining settings, but like foxes with bugs as pets. That's fun. And I'm really loving the characters too. I especially love Mint and just the ball of destruction they are.
There's like this potential energy, like just any moment now, Mint's gonna go nuts. Yeah.
I don't really have any wishes. The only thing I'll call out is I had a little bit of confusion between the two different variations of the beta rules, which I get like they've been changing and stuff. So I don't know, maybe a note for you, Dan, in the future, let people know which character creation thing to look at, because apparently there's differences.
Yeah, I didn't even realize there were 2 different versions. So thanks for pointing that out. Cool. And Dan.
Oh yeah, I think I'll echo the others. This is looking like a lot of fun. Dan, thank you for running this. This is, and thank you for bringing this to my and I guess our attention. This cool game. Yeah, I think wishes. I'm gonna say. I think I have a bad habit of forgetting character connections, and I'm going to try to do better at that in the future. So this is me saying that I will remember to sign on a little early next week and re-examine those.
Thank you for bringing that up. I like doing that at the beginning of each session anyway, of just like, hey, what's something cool about your character we should remember? Why don't you remind us about the connections, that kind of stuff. So we'll do a little bit of that kind of preamble before we get into adventure next time. So for my own stars and wishes, I'm super grateful to you all for joining me on this ride. My wishes, I know as a GM, I sometimes struggle to raise the stakes because I take be a fan of the characters way too seriously or too much to heart. So I'm going to continue trying to raise the stakes and apply some pressure. But I think you created some awesome characters and I love them so much already. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. So that's me. Friends, I'm going to stop the recording.